Good morning, everyone. I think we're going to begin. This is Erin Branch with the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, and I just want to welcome you to the OVC Vision 21, Linking Systems of Care for Children and Youth, first gathering of the steering committee. So it's a bit of an orientation, and I think your team back here in Reno was thinking that we would use this as sort of a conversation jump starter so that when we gather on August 20th and 21st in person, we won't be strangers to one another or to the project. So we are hoping that we can give you a little overview of the project and the people that will be involved, that will spend a little bit of time getting to know one another. And despite the fact that webinars can sometimes be a little bit passive, we hope to actually design something so that we can get great participation from those of you who could be on the line. So thank you so much for making the time, both for this webinar, for our meeting in August, and for this project, which we are just truly so excited about. For many of us who've been speaking for years about the fact that our services and interventions and professional communities are a little disjointed, this is a wonderful opportunity to gather forces and help keep our children and youth safe. So I did want to say that while I'm going to turn it over in just a moment to my colleague Jessica Pierce, who's going to explain the technology to you and make sure everyone is comfortable, wanted to point out for you that on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a little box that says Files, and it has a number of documents listed below. If you go to the far right of that title line, you'll see a drop-down caret, and you'll be allowed to download any of those documents. And I think they're documents that you may find useful in our work together, and encourage you to do that. You'll find a graphic that our colleagues at ICF created for us. We will turn to it during the PowerPoint presentation, but it helps kind of explain the roles of the various people involved in the project. You'll also find a two-page summary of the Linking Systems of Care project, and you received that document when you were invited to sit on the steering committee, but you may want to look at it again or have it in one place with all your other documents. You'll also see the full text of the Vision 21 report as well as the at a glance, and that's really important context work. The Linking Systems of Care for Children and Youth project is one of many projects within Vision 21, but we want to make sure that we keep our touchstone always in sight. And you will also find a project contact list in case you need to be in touch with any of the people you meet today, as well as a steering committee roster so you can see who your colleagues are. And for now, that's enough out of me. Never fear, I'll be talking again, and I'm going to turn it over to my friend Jessica Pierce. And if you have any trouble, I sure hope you'll use the chat box to let us know, and we will help you as best we can. Thanks, everyone.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Pierce, and I work here at the National Council as well. And one of the things that I do is that I love technology. So I am kind of our resident guru here for Adobe Connect, and I am so excited that we're going to have an interactive meeting today. Now, there are going to be two different ways that you're going to interact, well, really three different ways you're going to interact with us today. You're going to raise your hand, you're going to type things in chat, and you're going to use our whiteboard. So the very everybody to do is practice raising their hands. And you can see on the screen I have some directions. Under the raised hand icon, we have a lot of different options. So I want everybody to sort of pick their favorite vacation. So to find where you can raise your hand, there should be a picture of a person with their hand raised, kind of right at the top of your screen, just above this PowerPoint. And if you could select that, and then go ahead and either choose a green check mark if your favorite vacation is to go to Europe, red X if the beach is your favorite vacation. I suppose X marks the spot, like for pirate treasure. Cruise, go ahead and raise your hand. Camping, do the applause. And once you've done that, go ahead and write in chat what you're looking forward to from today's meeting. Okay, it looks like we've got a lot of people who want to go to Europe, some people who want to go to the beach. Maybe the beach in Europe might be the way to go. Great, it looks like everybody has found that. And now go ahead and type into chat what you're looking forward to with our meeting today. Learning more about the initiative, good. I think they're going to cover that. Wonderful. And you should feel free to use the chat throughout the meeting. We have actually someone here who will be monitoring it. Feel free to chat with your fellow participants while you're here with us. And if you have questions, the raised hand or having your phone unmuted. As I mentioned in the chat, you will start out with your phones muted. This is so that we don't have any background noise. But at the end of the meeting, we are going to unmute everybody's lines, so make sure that you're prepared for that. All right, the very last thing I want to practice with you is with our whiteboard. And I'm actually going to change the screen. You're going to stop seeing this, and you're going to start seeing a whiteboard. All right, so you should see a whiteboard on your screen, and off to the left-hand side of that, there's a kind of a black bar that has a bunch of different sort of shapes and things in it. If you could click on the T and click anywhere in the white space on the whiteboard and just type in your name for us today. Once you've typed in your name, click anywhere on the white space, and that'll make it appear on the screen. Wonderful, you guys have got this.
Wow.
Yay! So later on today, we're going to actually do something a little more with the whiteboard, but you can see how cool it looks with everybody just kind of picking a spot and going for it. We get this sort of great word cloud that you've created for us, so I really appreciate that. Very cool. Okay, and now people are experimenting with shapes and other things. We will just be using the T for text today, but maybe at future meetings we can do some fun things with the shapes as well. Alrighty, so that is our tutorial. We will be using all of those things, and again, if you have questions, please type them into chat or raise your hand. Erin, I'm going to turn it right back to you.
Right. And actually, I'm here with my colleague, Crystal Duarte, and Crystal's going to introduce herself and get us started.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to look over Erin's shoulder. Not that that matters because you can't see me anyway. So as Erin mentioned, I'm Crystal Duarte with the National Council. Our goal this morning is to kind of give the big picture. This is a very big project. And we want to set out some objectives and get ourselves ready for our in-person meeting in August. Michelle's going to talk more about that towards the end of the webinar. But as an overview, this is a demonstration initiative funded by the Office of Victims of Crime. It's funded under their Vision 21 project, and there are multiple projects underneath that. So this is just one of those, and it's called Linking Systems of Care. It is to create statewide demonstration projects in 2 states. Currently, those states are Montana and Virginia. And the National Council's role is to provide training and technical assistance. We're working very closely with OVC to provide that training and technical assistance. I think the key words on this slide are to identify, assess, and serve child and youth victims of crime. And you can see there how we identify victimization. So that includes direct victimization, witnessing, or being exposed. And the other key thing on this services would become trauma-informed, and they'd be incorporating evidence-based practices, multidisciplinary, and innovative. Those things are going to be very important as the states take on this work. We're going to go further into the various partners on this in this project, and we have there that NIJ, the National Institute of Justice, has given a grant to ICF International to provide a concurrent evaluation of the training and technical assistance. They're going to be joining us later to talk about what that looks like as we know it now.
For just a second. Yeah. Can I ask if we lost audio for some folks. Can I have you chat in if you can hear me? Are we back? Okay. Great.
Still staticky, though.
We'll do our best to resolve that.
So we're going to go through the various roles of the different partners on the project. And again, just going over our goals for the day. We want to orient you to this project, introduce the partners, our staff, and describe some of the linking systems of care goals and the progress. The 2 states, as well as the National Council, we've been working since about January on this. We want to bring you up to speed on what we've been doing. And most importantly, we want you and the work that doing and begin discussions and begin your thinking about how you can be of value. We do anticipate an in-person meeting in August, and that'll be to further refine our guiding principles and discuss next steps of the project. We are going to get started on that today using some of the functionality of Adobe Connect. Is there anything else you want to discuss? So I'm going to just pause for a second, and if there's anything else you want us to cover this morning, please chat that into the chat window. So I'm going to continue. I don't think I saw any additional goals. Hopefully this covers everything, and there'll be a chance for questions as well, a couple chances.
Let's go ahead and stop for a sound check.
Okay.
So if you can hear us clearly now and there's no static on the line, go ahead and either type it in chat or raise your hand. If you're still having static, please use the red X. We don't want to go all the way through here with everybody having static, so we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Well, it looks like we're better for sound. Keep us posted if it changes.
Okay. So you should see now a chart on your screen, and Sarah, our partner at ICF International, created this chart to help explain the organizations that make up Linking Systems of Care. So again, it's funded by the Department of Justice, and then through the Office of Victims of Crime. And you'll see here on the left-hand side is where the National Council is in order to provide training and technical assistance. And you'll see that the steering committee, that's where you sit here within this framework. And that is in order to guide us, the National Council, in order to work with the state. So that's really the role and your position in this project. There's probably more we can say about the role, and we will as we go forward. I keep advancing the slide wrong. Okay. So I'm going to go down here. So we have the National Institute of Justice. They're providing oversight of the project evaluation, which is going to be conducted by ICF. We have 2 demonstration sites. Those grantees are the Montana Board of Crime Control and the Virginia Department of Social Services. And both states have brought together a broad-based collaborative to do their work. And now I'm going to transfer over to Bethany, who hopefully will have your phone unmuted. And she's going to describe the Office of Victims of Crime and what we're doing with this project through their office.
Hi there.
Hi, Bethany. We can hear you.
Okay, great. So I'm Bethany from the Office for Victims of Crime, and I'm also joined by our Associate Director, Susan Williams. And thank you all for being on the call today. But really our objective is providing funding to support the effort and provide general oversight, support, and kind of guiding the program along during the key decision-making points. So I think that's good for now. You'll hear much more about our office's mission, the Vision 21 initiative in about 10 slides, I believe.
Thanks, Bethany. This is Erin Branch again, and Bethany, I hope when she gets to her slides will say a lot more because she's been so involved with the National Council in terms of setting the large scope vision for this project and the sort of the tone of our work with the states who've already started the work, which is to say a really, really collaborative and open-minded project trying to make sure that we have everybody at the table giving their best and we take advantage of the resources we have for a really important project. So I want to speak just a little bit about the role of the National Council in the project. We are actually providing training and technical assistance coordination to the sites and to OVC and doing our best to coordinate communication among all of the national partners that you see on the wonderful chart that our friends at ICF built for us. This project is very, very consistent with the kinds of work that the National Council does in terms of and families who seek justice, and many of you who know the work of the National Council know that our work extends far beyond the role of our judges, although we love and need our judges, and they often are the people who convene and direct our work in very, very meaningful ways. But we've had a number of national initiatives that we like to sit at the nexus of these national organizations and make sure that we're encouraging communication and best practices. And many of you have seen us do this kind of work in cross-system collaboration, strategic planning, but this is often in areas of child welfare, juvenile justice, domestic violence, domestic child sex trafficking, and children exposed to violence. So you can see why we would be particularly interested in being conveners of the nation's best thinkers on how we might do better work in these areas. I wonder if we could use the chat box for just a second, and those of you who have worked with the National Council and have been in receipt of our training and technical assistance or strategic planning help, if you could just write in a little chat for all of us to see so we know how familiar you are with us. For those of you who are still having some static, we're doing our best to work on it while we continue our conversation. Hi, Betsy. Glad it was pleasurable. Yes, my friend Sherry Ely is excellent at her work in juvenile justice work, and we have the best. You guys are typing so fast I can barely keep up. Judge Gonzalez, nice to see you. Leona, yes, with many of our Defending Childhood Initiative projects. And Jackie Bogus, yes. If I skipped anybody, I apologize. I'm a blind old woman looking at a small screen.
And Janie wrote that she's working with the council on the Quality Improvement Center for Research-Based Infant and Toddler Court Teams project.
Fantastic. So we welcome all of you and hope that as we move forward together that you're our institutional memory. We do not need to reinvent things when we've been doing good work for decades together, and we have excellent folks here. Thank you. So at this point, I know that my friend and colleague Dara is on the phone. Dara, can you visit with us a little bit about the role of the NIJ in the project?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Hi.
okay, great. Hi. So thank you. Yeah, so I am here representing the National Institute of Justice. And as you saw probably briefly on that chart a couple of slides ago, our role here is that we are providing oversight of the national study, the project evaluation, which you'll hear a little bit more about later, and just general technical expertise and research insight. I'm really not going to say a whole lot more than that, other than to just briefly, for those of you who might not be aware, tell you sort of what NIJ is. NIJ is the Research, Development, and Evaluation Agency of the U.S. Department of Justice, and as such, we're dedicated to improving knowledge and understanding of crime and justice issues through science. It looks like the second bullet there got cut off a little bit, but this is our mission statement, is that we provide objective and independent knowledge and tools to reduce crime and promote justice, particularly at the state and local level. So I'm excited to be working with all of you, and particularly thank our colleagues at OVC for bringing us into this exciting project.
Thank you, Dara. And my understanding is that Sarah is also on the line from ICF. Sarah, can you talk with us a little bit about how ICF is working with NIJ very closely and in service of the whole project?
Sure thing. This is Sarah. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Sarah.
Hello. So first of all, just thanks everyone for letting us join today. I'm excited to virtually meet all of you and really eager to learn more about the steering committee and how this fits into the project. As has already been mentioned, we are leading the national study being performed by ICF and supported by the National Institute of Justice. And Mary Spooner and I are the co-principal investigators. We're probably the two people who you will encounter most on this project. And basically, you know, we look at the national studies having three purposes. We want to be providing useful information and data to the people involved in the project to inform implementation. So that includes the council, that includes the sites, that includes OVC. We also want to provide information to the field for others who want to do similar things to address child victimization and potentially replicate some of the things that the sites are doing that are successful. And then finally, just also working with grantees to learn more generally about what systems of care techniques lead to better outcomes, to generate some of that knowledge for the field. There are multiple components of the study. We'll be doing a webinar later in July. I'm not sure if people will be attending that or not, but that's going to go into more detail. But there's a lot of pieces of our study. There's interviews with people involved in the project. We're doing an annual survey measuring collaboration and services integration to track changes over time due to the demonstration. And we are collecting data from frontline service providers in the state and from victims and their families in the state to understand their perspectives on how the demonstration is changing services across the state. And then finally, also looking at some administrative data, things like client services records, potentially publicly available data, things like that. And so we really like to look at this from multiple angles so we can really try to measure how things are changing from different perspectives, have the best chance of, you know, detecting changes by looking at it from these different ways. And we are most definitely working in strong partnership with NIJ, OVC, and the council to gather this information and to share this information back with everyone. And so throughout the project, we'll be tracking activities and outcomes to gather these lessons learned, these challenges, and the project successes so that that information will be retained and available for those in the project and others outside, as I mentioned before, who may be interested in doing similar things. So just wanted to say we're really excited to be working with all of you on this exciting demonstration, and we are always happy to answer questions. I know sometimes we can, talk jargony or be talking about things that maybe not everyone's familiar with for people who don't work with data as much. So please, please, please ask a question if you have it, and I'm always happy to chat with people about it. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So this is Erin Branch again. So having heard from OVC and NIJ a little bit, I wanted to walk you through the Lincoln Systems of Care technical assistance staff at the council, and I put these very dorky pictures of the whole staff through the next few slides, just because I think it helps when you can maybe associate a voice with a face, and also we'll be seeing each other and meeting each other so soon. I wanted you to get a sense of who we are. So all these people are around the table with me here, and I'm just going to introduce them. I don't think we're going to fuss with muting and unmuting, but I wanted to let you know who's here and what their roles are, and really, really how much of our staff we've committed to this project, because there are lots of moving parts, and we're so invested in the outcome. So I have the pleasure of working with my friend Crystal Duarte on grant management and partner coordination, because we have multiple partners and we want to make sure we're using our resources really, really effectively. In addition, training and technical assistance is for the 2 demonstration initiative sites in Montana and Virginia. It's going to be coordinated by Michelle Robinson, who many of you may have worked with before, and Michelle has a lot of experience working with demonstration sites and making sure they have all of the people and technical assistance that they need to further their work. And so Michelle will be charged with being in touch with what's happening at both of the sites and with the priorities of the national partners, and to make sure that we have seamless provision and communication about what the sites are encountering as they begin their work. Whoops, I think I got a little froggy here. I'm trying. Okay. In addition to Michelle's role in terms of coordinating all of the technical assistance, she is going to be the site lead to Montana, so that the initiative in Montana has one single point of contact, which is not to say that they won't get to know many of you and know many of us, but that they're in frequent conversation with Michelle. So she's having at least monthly conversations with them. She's going to be the person where all technical assistance requests come from her, and in fact, she often will be suggesting, as she's talking to them about their processes, the kinds of technical assistance that either the council can provide, that OVC might be able to provide, the kind of research we might be able to put in place, and then also, this is where you all come in, that she'll be talking about the kind of expertise we have on the steering committee, and she may be putting some folks in touch with you. Carlene Gonzalez is going to be playing a similar role in Virginia, and Michelle and Carlene have been already in conversation with the sites for months, helping them with many of their preliminary activities like hiring staff and creating fundamental collaboratives. Kelly, who I think some of you may have met, he's on the line actually monitoring your chats now. And Kelly's role is actually going to be in service to all of you and to both of the sites, that if Michelle and Carlene field a technical assistance request, or if OVC asks us to do some investigation into some of the questions that are arising or concerns that are arising, Kelly has an incredible capacity to do research that is well done, quickly done, and really, really relevant to the site. So Kelly is going to be kind of a one-man research team turning out technical assistance. So you may find he's in touch with you all as on the steering committee to find out what projects you're aware of and whether or not there's a research base for some of the things that we're leaning towards. But he is in service to the sites primarily. And then finally, you may have heard from or seen email from Lee Concha and Carrie Kosach. And Lee and Carrie are our program specialists, which is to say that that they are operating much in the background, and we would be crippled without them. They're doing a lot of our coordination, our webinars, our phone conferences, preparation of PowerPoints and materials. And if you ever have any questions on meetings, I would always start with them, because they're so very helpful and so very aware of what's happening council-wide. And at this point, I would like to turn it over to our partner, Susan Coe, at the National Child Traumatic Stress Network. The council made a decision early on in our application for this grant, actually, that we would partner with NCTSN because of their real familiarity with what's happening in the field and their ability to provide evidence-based, practical training and technical assistance to the site. So Susan, if you're on, I'm going to turn it over to you and maybe let you talk about how you can operate both in service to the steering committee and to all of our training and technical assistance needs to the site.
Great, thank you. Well, thanks so much. We're really excited to be part of the initiative, and I have my colleague Jane Halliday Goldman on the phone as well, and she, I'm just going to share a few thoughts about the
the
read
any